So thank you very much for joining this session. You all know that today's session is very interesting, and that is dialectical materialism and democracy. In Hindi, we call it Dvandvatmak Bhautikvad and Ganatantra. Recently, we had even my brother Madhusudan Dada was there. We had interviewed Dr. Inayatullah. So his work was on Sarkar's spiritual dialectics. Sarkar commented on is he asked that the title to be changed as it was incorrect because there are no dialectics in spirituality. He said spirituality is the supreme synthetic proposition. So dialectism, I mean, it's only possible in the material world. So that was also two things coming to my mind. And we all here to discuss about dialectic materialism and democracy. And for briefing, because it's a Baba's lecture directly, and he has said that social advancement is the uh, triadic blending of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. So that is what he was explaining. When a particular theory or thesis loses its competency and power to effect the collective welfare, an antithesis is created against the prevalent theory. So as a result of clash and cohesion between these two opposing forces, for example, as communism or you can say Marxism came out as an antithesis of the thesis of capitalism. So as a result of clash and cohesion between these two opposing forces, a resultant is created, and this resultant is called synthesis. Marx had not given synthesis, he had given only the antithesis. So is it true that the welfare of society is only possible in the stage of synthesis? We believe yes. So when those who have the duty and responsibility for materializing social welfare, neglecting minorities or the people in general, the synthesis of a particular age transform itself into the thesis of the next age. So this is ongoing process, and that is how thesis, antithesis, and synthesis takes place. And again, synthesis becomes thesis, and then again, antithesis created. So this is the cycle of it. So I have so many learned people. I would like to start from you. Any of you can start speaking on the subject. Nice to see you, Dada.
Namaskar.
Nice.
Well, I was hoping to hear what other people have to say. Otherwise, I'm just reaching out in the dark here a little bit.
Okay.
I was actually a little bit confused by the topic because democracy has nothing to do with dialectical materialism, and dialectical materialism has nothing to do with democracy. Rather, as you quite accurately said, dialectical materialism or Marxism was the antithesis to capitalism. Marx had a very accurate criticism of capitalism. The problem is his proposal was defective because dialectical materialism is a defective philosophy. It is based on a incorrect understanding of the universe and how the universe functions. And because of that, it was doomed. So it, as an antithesis, yes, you can oppose capitalism, but just because capitalism is removed doesn't mean the problem is solved, which is what a lot of communists used to think. They would say, well, once you remove the exploiters, then the exploitation is gone. They didn't realize that once you remove one set of exploiters, a new exploiter will come. And they were the new exploiters. So that becomes a problem. Whereas PROUT is a comprehensive philosophy, I believe, and it covers all the loopholes that dialectical materialism left open. And the problem with democracy and dialectical materialism is because in a communist society, democracy is impossible because they need a dictatorship in order to, oh, how can you say, compensate for the defects in their system. That is to keep people from rebelling or tearing apart their contrived defective system. They cannot have a real democracy. But even in PROUT, we don't have a complete democracy. Baba gave this selecto-electional system. There should be some controlled democracy because you have to have educate electorate. I mean, even today or yesterday, recently, I talk with people about politics in the United States, and we have a big problem with an uneducated electorate. And even in a so-called educated country where the electorate is uneducated or can easily be fooled by false ideas, and people be directed in a way that's not only counter to their own personal self-interest, counter to the interest of their society. So democracy has its loopholes too. So what we're looking for is a solution. The solution doesn't lie in the past, it lies in the future. And that is the ideology that Baba has given. What's interesting is there's been a debate among some Proudists I've seen online as to whether Ananda Marga is an essential part of PROUT. That is Ananda Marga spiritual philosophy. Can PROUT be separated from Ananda Marga spiritual philosophy? I don't believe it can be. I don't believe that you can have PROUT without the spiritual foundation that Baba gave. And so PROUT is not just a concept by which we're going to fix some of the economic problems and eliminate poverty. It's more than that. It's to provide a proper environment for people to do sadhana. You can't do sadhana if you're hungry, or it's very difficult. It's hard to think about elevating your mind and thinking of the supreme consciousness, supreme being, if you're involved in what Marx called wage slavery. So we had to eliminate all these problems just to make it possible for the vast majority of humanity, the huge number of people, to pursue naturally on their spiritual path. I think that's the real contribution of PROUT, is to really make the world fertile ground for spiritual development, something that no other system has ever done before. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. You rightly said. Marx did a basic mistake is that he considered materialism is the summum bonum of life. There, PROUT totally is different. So there he did a mistake and he went on a different path altogether. But obviously, Baba was saying that he did not give synthesis. Synthesis was made by the people as per their own interest, and that is why it could not last even for 70 years. And there are many loopholes, I agree. But at the same time, again, I'm still on the same topic that as soon as the antithesis is created, the former ideology ceases to be synthesis and it becomes the thesis for the next phase. So now at present, we see that if you say any system exists, then what exists today is socio-economic system is capitalism. That is what I see to it. And that is why an antithesis is required, of course. And as you rightly said, PROUT has a comprehensive theory. PROUT is a complete theory in itself, and sadhana and spirituality is an integral part of it. Because we are saying very different, unlike capitalism, what we made yesterday was a statement that unlike capitalism, PROUT don't allow unlimited accumulation of wealth because it is limited. And you rightly said that with empty stomach, one cannot do spirituality. And PROUT considers that through spirituality, going to the ultimate or gaining its ultimate goal is the aim of life. And that is the philosophy on which PROUT works, that Harar Me Pita Gauri Mata, means the creator, the very cosmic consciousness is my father, and Parama Prakriti is my mother, and then entire cosmos is our homeland. So that very consideration is the base of the PROUT, and which is very universal in its approach. So yes, anybody else?
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Uh, yeah, just for a moment, if we imagine that if Prout was not there, if Baba had not given Prout, and the society and the situation where we are in the entire global scenario, I'm talking, not just in India or in America or elsewhere, everywhere, everywhere, fight for survival and fight for uh, minimum requirements. The gap between haves and have-nots is continuously increasing. So there is definitely need of Prout, and we have a role to play. Baba has clearly said that only moralists can implement Prout. So, as Madhusudan Dada said, that base is the spirituality. Without the spiritual application of mind, Prout cannot be implemented. If Baba really wanted that Prout had to be implemented, it would have been implemented even with a few people. But the lack of moralists, which is gradually evolving on one side, and on the other side, we can also see that social changes, social dynamics are also gradually changing. Perhaps we are able to understand it. Uh, it is moving towards the need for holistic, a comprehensive solution, not just on one angle, like whether only for roti, kapda, makan, only, whether a house, shelter, food, only not for just minimum requirements, but psychic potentialities, and also to move towards the people are searching, people are not happy though they have many things around them. So they know that there is something, happiness is much more beyond the materialism, and therefore the need of proud and they have to take it forward is very much there. Thank you.
Right, Dada, you rightly said that the basic thing is that people don't know even that the very existence of human, they are trifarious in nature. I mean, they need a physical longing, then mental, and then a spiritual. So there are three aspects of life. And obviously, when people are moving as per the materialism, and they want to gain again, because it is their nature to get infinite happiness, and they're not getting that. And obviously, in spite of having a lot of wealth, even they're not happy. You rightly said, because their intellect is misguided. They do not know what is the aspect of life. So that is why the real welfare of society, wo, it is not at all in dialectic materialism, neither it is in democracy. In out of these two, none of them are going to be benevolent for society. Dialectic materialism is a brutal instrument of exploitation and destruction. And we can see today, I mean, आज हम अपने समाज में देख सकते हैं, everybody is fighting, मैं बड़ा कि तुम बड़ा. I mean, English if I say I am big or you are big. I mean, the last I'll submit here, I always say the last election of US between Biden and Trump was an example. Is a very educated country, is almost all aspects which say it is there, but still, I'm talking of democracy, and they say that they are the Purodha of democracy. And the situation was that when one got probably 51.3%, another got 48 point or 46.8% vote. And see, was the fight. The White House was, I mean, how it was attacked, literally. I mean, if it was typical chaos. So it is only because it says that democracy is also not materialism, we know, but democracy is also not the perfect path on which even today in India we can see, or everywhere it is seen, one person is only trying to abuse the other side, right from the parliament to street, everywhere. This is not the expected, I mean, this is not what is expected from the our chosen what you call the representatives or the government we want. So somewhere Baba says that those who have a correct philosophy and a correct spiritual sadhana based on the principles of yama niyama, again, because without that sadhana is impossibility, will be the guiding personalities in the society of tomorrow. That is what Madhusudan Dada told, that we have the solution for the future. So it is a duty of the conscious people to snatch away the physical power and the intellectual leadership from the hands of political hypocrites. So politicians are of no use to society because they're engaged in the business of mudslinging and nothing else. So may I request my Dada Reddy, Surendra Reddy Dada, to speak on the subject, please? Surendra Dada, are you there?
Thank you.
Thank
Namaskar,
you.
Dada. Namaskar, all the
Namaskar.
participants. दादा तो ये टॉपिक के बारे this topic has been there is a speech of Renaissance Universal speech is there given in New Delhi on 1963 10th December at New Delhi by Baba, and this article is titled Dialectical Materialism and Democracy, and he has started the social, what you have already read. Rajendra Dada has read the first paragraph, and that the triad blending of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, and this tool of intellectual tool, rather, you can say, first of all, dialectics or whatever dialectics. See, there was it was started in 18th century in Europe. Hegel, Kant, and subsequently, of course, it was converted into materialism. But Kant and Hegel were looking at kind of a mental or consciousness, identity, identification, individual, family, tribe, then regions, nation. So that kind of he said it will go on, the identity. So that dialectics of mind also. So they try to suggest, Kant and Hegel try to suggest there is dialectics of mind. So, but suddenly looking at the reality of the world, when industrial revolution has reduced society to a very highly unequal society with a lot of exploitation going on, and the misery of the workers and all that. See, Marx suddenly and rather reacted, said, see, the reality is material matter, that is economic relationships. That is, the elite is related to the property, while majority workers are not related to ownership of property, but they are deprived of it. So he said, this economic relationship is the central and focus to the reflection in our social society. He said social psychology also depends upon people who have and haves and have-nots. Haves have a different psychology, and have-nots have a different psychology. It's a misreading of the Marx had a misreading, but he was a humanist. Then what happened is that, so in other words, one we can say is that he has a fractional outlook, rather you can say, PROUT uses the term the totality of human nature. PROUT and neo-humanism and Anand addresses the totality of human nature, and it is the reality of the human nature is physical, psychic, as well as spiritual. So there is this kind of a formulation which has synthesized, in other words, he has synthesized some in a one way that there is no artificial dichotomy need not be there between mind and matter. Both matter and mind are metamorphosed forms of consciousness only. So for us as Margis and for us as Proutists, we don't have this nuisance of what you call artificial dichotomy between mind and matter and mind. So importance of both material as well as psychological, material, psychological, and spiritual is equally what you call we are able to reconcile, because the reconciliation takes place in the consciousness, supreme consciousness, because we say we derive our existence from supreme consciousness. So it's a supreme consciousness is the arbitration, kind of arbitrary, the arbitrator of this, because it is the we live with the parallelism between physical and mental resources. So anyway, this is very one interesting thing I would like to say. Here is a sentence which says, when those who have the duty and responsibility for materializing social welfare neglect minorities, are the people in general. See, are the people, the neglect of minority people in general is reflected in the inequality that is growing inequality in the country or in our world, the world we are facing. And of course, at the same time, the identity politics, minorities are targeted all over the world. There is majoritarianism. So this he has pointed out these two focal issues, that is minorities are neglected, and because they are weak, like tribals are there, in our untouchables in India, blacks in America or anywhere. So like we have a very big minority majority in country level, at the country level, community level also. So at the same time, we have in general, people in general, in the sense, the society, there is inequality is growing because of the lack of wherewithal, that is resource minimum necessities requirement, the people are not fulfilled. So these are the two reasons why which, he says that the synthesis of a particular age transforms itself into the thesis of the next stage. And we are right now in that stage. Okay. Then we have another very dimension I wanted to bring to the notice is that, of course, already Maswan Dada has said about the dialectical materialism is fundamentally wrong and defective. This is the statement given by, see, in this speech also, he has said this. And of course, he has suggested, the recommendation is that Sadhviprasad. Now he says the cyclical nature of social society. Nobody can prevent a social cycle that is moving from Shuddha era to. But he says that the adjustment is possible by the declassed Sadhvipras, what you call, who are in the hub of the society, not on the periphery, because it's a peripheral movement. Society's peripheral movement is moving from what you call, because of dominant psychology, dominant psychology, Kshatran era to Vipran era to capitalist era, and we are of course supposed to be now in the ultimate stage of the Vaishyan era, where both matter and mind are in the control of the people who command the wealth. Concentration of wealth is going on, and they control all the resources, both physical resources as well as psychological resources. Now you see that both the Vipras and also Chatrans serve the interests of the Vaishyan elite. It's going on all over the world now. Now he says that the realization, the possibility of realization or the emergence of a synthesis or antithesis. Now what we need, the world needs is an antithesis. So the antithesis is emerged. And he says that when the antithesis emerges, for that emergence, Proutists will have to work. And that antithesis has to be drawn from the principles of PROUT. And we have to say that, and the job, the next era, according to the cycle, of course, the Kshatran era. And also to some extent, you can say that you can see that all over the world, the right wing, majoritarianism, right wing, authoritarianism, dictatorships are now flowering. Like what do you call, like the spring has come, as some spring, the season of spring has come, and the world over today in countries all over the world, the dictators are springing up and trying to dominate. So to some extent, it shows that what Baba said, that antithesis is going to be, of course, but at the same time, Baba said that if the leadership or the Sadyupras or the leadership is Viprans dominate or intellectuals dominated, there can be a peaceful and also a highly intellectual revolution will take place. And if the Kshatrans dominate, of course, it will be a rough and tough kind of a struggle that's going to happen. And I think the dialectics, I think I tried to bring some points into the picture. And I, in fact, recommend that this article, it is there in our volume, the New Renaissance Volume 1, published by AMPS, which is in this speech is there, RU speeches are there. The collection of RU speeches are published in 2 volumes. In the first volume, you can find this one. I recommend that people because democracy and dialectical materialism, of course, they are 2 interesting spokes of the current debates going on in the world today. There is people say that dictatorship versus democracy and all that, but it's not the issue. Is the human suffering, inequality and human suffering, unemployment, minimum requirement, all those things. And of course, now coming to the point of democracy, Baba has given what is the minimum requirement, mass education. He said first and foremost there should be mass education. Without mass education, that is. Second aspect is of course morality. Democracy is possible. Democracy can decently deliver, but provided there is mass education, there is morality. Second fundamental factor required for democracy, and too many of morality. And now third thing is the social, economic, and political consciousness is also indispensable for the success of democracy. It is not just being literate or scholarly or he says that socio-economic consciousness has to be inculcated among the people. With the people having the socio-economic consciousness, if they are in majority, let us say more than a majority, that democracy will be healthy. But where there is no socio-economic consciousness, and so the democracies suffer. All the kinds of and also the Vaishyan era, the elite of the Vaishyan elite prefers democracy because it's a very pliable thing. It is much more easier to manipulate what you call the democracies, rather than the other types of governments. So they prefer democracy, but at the same time, that democracy is a sham democracy. You have Putin also having 90%, 98% vote being given, what do you call, receiving. Erdogan is there in Turkey, and some kind of Bolsonaro was there in Brazil, and we have Argentina. You recently had, of course, the Chavez, so student is there, that rather follower is there. He is also one dictator. So dictators are what do you call making hay. See now, right now. So now the thing is that we require leadership. If it is Sadyupa leadership, it will be able to make adjustments and see that the synthesis will become a norm, rather than see the continuous what do you call struggle between the thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. And of course, synthesis again becoming a thesis. And the solution lies with the Sadyupa leadership, who will have to be in the center of the social cycle and will be able to regulate and see that the period of change between from one era to the next is done more rapidly, and it will accelerate the cycle. to see that the period of suffering of the people under dictator, under exploitation by Viprans or Kshatrans or Vaishyans is reduced to the minimum. So I think,
Right.
I just want to,
thank you very much.
because I have a small
Yes,
question.
yes, Chittaranand.
Yeah, are we moving from democracy, the kind of democratic systems that we are in, to the so-called democracy, to a dictatorship? Everywhere, almost every country is directly or indirectly moving towards the face is democracy, but the functioning seems to be dictatorship. And then how it is going to move further?
Yeah, Dada, you were asking the question? Okay.
Yeah, I asked a question. I
Okay,
asked a
fine,
question.
fine, fine, fine. So I think answer, though indirectly, it was given that capitalism prefers democracy and capitalism prefers political democracy. What we are saying that democracy is good and first is the minimum needs of everyone should have been there, then only democracy will be successful. Otherwise, it's very obvious that just with some money they can purchase your votes. You know, in India, even by just providing you some grains every month, you will have a yes. So you will have a inclination that okay, at least so much I am getting, and you know the psychology of people we have, and in poverty, of course, the psychology changes drastically when you are in abundance and when you are in scarcity. It is absolutely changes. So unless everyone has not minimum requirements only, minimum requirements guarantee, that is the first thing, and then from there onwards it starts the three quality which is important for the success of democracy. That is education means what to do, what not to do. There should be a sense of what you call wisdom to know what to do, what not to do. So and then morality is a very important part, and unless morality is there, even you know what to do and what not to do, but you may be influenced by something. And then the third is, he rightly said that social, economical, and political awareness, consciousness. And again, at the end, I would like to say, Sitaramji, that what democracy we are talking is certainly not this democracy, political democracy. We are talking of economic democracy here. In spite of all these qualities, we are talking of economic democracy. That PROUT prefers economic democracy in the name of democracy and not this political democracy. But yes, if the good people or the people having all these qualities, at least there are 51% people, then it will be to some extent called the democracy or successful democracy. Otherwise, democracy is for the people, of the people, and by the people. But the fact is, it fools the people and it is made by the fools and for the fools. And it's all a bullshit. I do not use the word. So in nutshell, I'm not able to get that word what was used. That's why I'm saying like this. So
Best of the worst. Probably it's the best of the worst.
otherwise, you rightly said, because you said, I'll give an example. We do not have such a common sense. See, a year back, so beautifully, Supreme Court suggested this. I always quote, and I would like to quote here also, just to satisfy your question, that for free and fair election, at least the election commission should be chosen in a rational way. And the rationality they suggested is there should be three people at least. One should be for the prime minister, another is the opposition party, and third is the Supreme Court, which is neutral, supposed to be the neutral. But see the how dare. It's what you told is going in that direction. Unless your psychology is like that, you will not do such a blunder, and that you will choose with 2-1 majority, and you will decide who will be the two people. This is certainly not a democracy. If so, this talks a lot about. So, bolte hai na ki, even if you, I don't know whether Madhusudan ji will understand. When we cook a rice, we check only one rice, and we'll tell that entire rice is cooked. Okay. So that is the one example which talks about your intention, your attitude, where you are going to take us in future. So this talks a lot about it. So you rightly said that, but we are heading, we want, PROUT wants Sarvipra's leadership, as the Dada rightly said, and we want economic democracy. Something is coming to my mind, which I came to hear from Dada Vimlananji during the class. What is happening in political democracy is every house politics has reached, and not to every house. In house, every member politics has reached. In the same family, somebody is supporting somebody else, someone is supporting somebody else. Even in the very closest relation of husband wife, there is also not unanimity. So this is because it is political democracy. Similarly, if economic democracy comes in power, everybody will talk of economy as today they are talking of politics. That how my society should move, that we are better tomorrow. So that is why this is required. Because बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. The thing which you see is sold. You know. So unless you display things, so today political democracy on display. Rather, one day I told in the last meeting that capitalism is trying to tell us that there is no better system than political democracy on this earth by capturing all the media and sources, which someone like Sadvipras has to come forward and tell that no, this is not the truth. So that is what you were hinting at. I'm sorry. May I request my Didi
Okay.
Sirja? Thank you, Didi.
Thank you for mentioning it. That actually, I joined today with the intention to listen to what is happening, in our line of thought, I would say, because I have been. Let me be very open about this. After having come back, I have been feeling a bit, skeptical about
what we talk and what we do.
is said and what we do. There has been a sense of despair, and I had consciously made that thing to just be away for some time, so that I also feel okay, I should hear a little more, so that and if there is something that is being done, I should also know about it. And that is the reason I really came back. I know it was not, it is not exactly what should be done, but somehow to keep that desperation within myself, I did that. But this topic was quite important at this juncture, especially. But I also wish that we take that step forward. When I say this, because words should come into action too. If that does not happen, what happens is that that spirit goes down. When we speak the words, the spirit is there, and when it doesn't materialize, uh, uh, the spirit goes down, and the collectivity does not emerge in the way that it should really emerge. I'm seeing that, especially, we should have made some sort of an effort, because there was an opening during this. Of course, we are not for elections, political statements, but at least I think our participation in the present system should be to the level of bringing the ideology among people who are opinion makers. It should be spoken, and remaining within ourselves uh, may not be the right uh, way of doing it. Of course, we speaking within ourselves,
Uh,
we can learn things, but it will not bring the movement into effect, especially the Samaj movement, which is our uh, movement and ideology. has to be implemented through the movement. And if that is not taking place, there is I would say, like, there is a lot of desperation from what I have seen and what I have heard. And that I really go to the masses, and I even among Margis, I go to them, I talk to them, and I see that frustration there. So, and especially the younger generation is facing it. There are generation of Margis, like second generation, third generation Margis. They don't see that, that ideology being coming into effect, and they don't see the scope for it, especially in what they are being put to, the rat race they are being put into. And we have the system, and that system has to be legible, I would say. Even if it is not implemented, they should be at least able to see it in within our families, within our society, at least. But as long as that doesn't come, learning part only happening, it'll be just like they learning engineering and going into banking. uh, I've always seen, of course, engineers have a role to play in banking today, but it leads to a lot of frustration, because it is not what they want that they are doing. So, uh, in every of course, in every meeting I do say this, because I came with into the Marga at a very different point of time in my life, and there was a lot of uh, it had a lot to do with my personal life and my peers, my collectivity. But I could not make the difference. I could not see the difference happening, because we did not have the uh, right framework, I would say. The framework. Because, of course, things takes time in collectivity. Things take time even in groups. But just the talking may not be enough. For
Yeah.
example, I would say, how many people did we really field at this opportunity through the Samaj movement? This is one question that I have in my mind. It
Didi,
was necessary, because
these questions,
through our Samaj movement.
these questions you can ask, I think, offline. Otherwise, if you are, it's an open forum. If you want to say, let me tell you, in Chhattisgarh, there is a dedicated person, Daneji, you must be knowing, entire society taking the advantage of the situation that during this election time, people will listen to you, is going across.
Yes.
Even in Maharashtra, let me tell you,
Vidarbha.
Sabri Samaj, even I am
Sorry.
being asked from this place to go in Prachar, and in Odisha, there are 2-3 people have themselves taking part in this, and we have offered that you call us, we'll be there for Prachar. So it is not that nothing is being done. It is not like that, Didi. Again, I would like to say that numerical majority and physical might are not the sole prerequisite for the emergence of an antithesis. That is what we are discussing today. If the oppressed are an intellectual group, then no matter how few their number are, they can put up an antithesis.
Yes, opinion makers.
Yes, yes. So,
The key.
so we have to be positive, and if any such thing comes in mind, getting isolated is not going to serve the purpose. We have to come across, we have to put the questions. Unless you are satisfied, keep asking. So that is what my submission is.
Okay.
Thank you, Didi. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
I would like to, we would have a discussion on this as to, I would propose, it can be an open forum, or it can be even, a collective discussion. And the participation could be through the students, which seems to be the.
I probably you are not. I don't know. Maybe it looks. You will see the Siddha Vidyananda. He is doing so many work, and almost nowadays much higher speed. I saw the programs in Chhattisgarh recently, day before yesterday only. Then I saw in probably Chandigarh, then Jammu. So it is talking something. It is not that people are idle.
Okay.
And but yes, we have limited people, but we have to be.
Dada, actually, yeah, I
But
just
still, even if it is one or two, it is fine. But
Yeah,
the
yeah,
programs,
that's
and
true.
one more
That's
thing
true.
is,
That's true.
probably I feel that I'm not getting it because maybe these communications are coming up in only in Hindi, and we do not get the message. Probably that's
Okay,
also
Didi,
a reason.
we'll keep you
Cannot.
in a loop. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So Madhusudhan Dada, yes, please.
Yes,
Mute. Yeah.
I very much, namaskar. Didi's comments very important. I wanted to say something about that.
Mm-hmm.
For many years, I always was very fond of criticizing our organizations, both in Prout and Andamarga. Organization not doing this, organization should do that. And finally, I realized I should stop complaining and do something about it. And the way I thought about it is, as long as I think it's somebody else's problem, I can't do anything. So I decided if it's a problem, it's my problem, not somebody else's problem. When it becomes my problem, I can do something about it.
Yeah.
So I'm doing. We're working on starting a Samaj here in the United States. And I've got some information from India. We're using the constitution of Prout Saura Samaj in India as a starting point, and we're making some adjustments to that. Talking about how we're going to do it and getting in and even forming a political party. I myself have run for political office here in in my town twice over the last 15 years. We didn't have a Prout party. I did it as in the Democratic Party, because you have to have a party. And I found, even if you don't win, which I didn't, you can have an impact on the dialogue. You have a say in what's going on in the political life by just running. I don't know how it works in India, but here there's always candidate forums where all the candidates are invited and they get to speak their point on what are the issues of the day. And I got a chance to speak, and I always use of course, I didn't talk about Prout, but I'm always using Prout in a neo-humanistic perspective on how I deal with things. And so many ideas were injected into the conversation that wouldn't necessarily be there. So we have lots of opportunities. There's more things already being done in India. We're just getting started here in the US. But the other thing I wanted to mention was, it is my belief that Baba set up a template for government in our own organizational structure. And a lot of people criticize the structure, but the structure is not the problem. It's the people don't know how to use the structure. But the structure is very, very nice, actually, nicely done. What we have not implemented in our own organization is economic democracy. We have a form of political democracy. We have a pyramidal structure. We have all the things, many things that Baba talked about, even compartmentalized democracy. Many things are there in our organization, but we don't have economic democracy. And that, I think, is something we need to work on as Margis. We need to develop economic democracy, whereas as you say, in economic terms, basically you say the people on the ground have the power. The economic power is decentralized, and we don't have that even in our Proud organization. And how do you get that? By taking the power, by doing something.
Yes.
And I remember, this goes way back, and maybe you've heard this story before. I've told this story many times. The week in 1971, the week before Baba was arrested, Baba gave a talk in Darshan, which I was attending. And I won't go through the whole thing. You all know the story of Rama and Ravana, which Baba told at that time. And then at the end of the talk, Baba said, if there's anything you want to do that is good, you don't have to ask permission from anybody. Baba gave us the freedom to go ahead and do something.
Yeah.
So sitting around waiting for somebody else to do it is never going to happen. We need to take some responsibility and some determination and move forward and make things happen. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dada.
Thank
Yes.
you, brother.
And thank you. Just to
yeah, Didi.
thank you, Dada, for saying that. And as you said, exactly that is what I have done. It's not like I've just
Very
gone off
good.
the track.
Mhm.
I've tried to do, because I wanted action, and I tried to do things on my own, even in the level of campaigning and all that. I did bring up our ideology for discussion. I didn't say the word proud because I didn't want a argument there. So I only put up the principles, and there was quite a lot of interest invoked among students. The discussion were in colleges basically, because student election was also on. So I did put it up there, and things have and there are, I'm just working on family based interactions also. So I'm working to the minimum level possible from my side, but need a lot of uh, work to be done, of course, a little more organized way, which Dada has promised now. And let's see how we can work out it. Thank you for telling me that.
Thank you, Didi.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
how to go about.
If see, this last statement of yours is even motivation for us. So because I was also in the opinion like you, many people say that you UPI people don't do anything. Tell me, this has given me a challenge. Though we should be very clear that each department have their own constitution, and we should follow that. So I was following that. In addition to that, I opened with 23 shareholders last 3 years one cooperative, and at least I have given my satisfaction is running on no profit no loss. At least one lady having no husband, one boy which was removed from the private institution, these two are working, and we have given them our confidence that till you can earn from this and do the work. So at least something we are doing, and this gives the auto, what you call, self motivation. For that we are doing. But the fact is, we should, because we are in UPIF, suppose, then we should follow the UPIF constitution at least. That part. There is nothing about Samaj. There is nothing about something else. But yes, there is something to educate people. That is what I am going to educate in Pune for 3 days, and because I have been asked for. So we have to see where we can be utilized, but we should do what we are supposed to do. And I always remember that what I am doing, I always say, and with this motivation only I opened the cooperative, that at least show satisfaction that physically also we are doing something, not only talking. So it is just a matter of satisfaction. Yes, thank you, Didi, for bringing this matter up. Thank you so much. May I request my Neetu Singh Didi, if you are hearing us, thank you so much.
Namaskar, Dada. Namaskar, Dada. Thank
Namaskar,
you
Didi.
so
Namaskar.
much for inviting me, Dada. But unfortunately, I am not prepared for today's topic.
No
But we
problem.
must say that though there are very few participants who have joined today, the words have the value of a gold. All best things have been heard in today's conversation, which I really enjoyed a lot. And through this platform, I also want to tell Shrija Dedi and others also that whatever activities are taking place by GPSF, GPYF, or other places, protest activities, we are trying to put it in Navchetna Reader group. So please stay tuned with that group, and you would be able to understand, know all the information there. Thank you so much, Dada.
Thank you,
Namaskar.
Didi. So that is what I told. Number does not matter. Even if we are few in numbers, and if we are powerful enough to create antithesis, I'm talking on the subject, then probably that is good enough. It's not my statement, it's Baba's statement. I'm just reading it. So thank you very much for Anything else somebody would like to say? Yeah, Surandar Dada, you are unmuted. You want to say something?
Okay.
Yes.
दादा ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है कि we must have informed protests.
Yeah.
That is not simply nominal protests, but people protests who are well versed with the ideology and what solutions we have been advocated, and we should understand. And one more thing, the social forces are not in individuals' hands. The social forces are being unleashed because at the society level, at the macro level, at the collective level. So the the other day I was reading about what you call Lenin now, the Bolshevik revolution that took place in 1917 in Russia and all that. See, there I was reading that. See, there are not many. See, the leadership had they only seized upon the opportunity because the time was ripe. See, now situation is ripening. See, in our where we are living today and world over. See, the now situation is ripening in a way which needs a solution of problem. I am very clear. The more I look at the problems that are being emerging in unemployment, in agriculture sector, and in any sector for that matter, education and healthcare and all these things. And so all this is new education. The more I find the relevance of PROUT ideology to the challenges that are there emerging in different sectors, because no longer see. In fact, we between 19 after the Second World War, I think we had a really a kind of a world order wherein we were not being exposed to very turmoil. But now I think this particular few years next are ahead or last let us couple of years or whatever it is, things are now moving in a in a way that uh, at a fly I feel that in some sector, some part of the world, Proud will make a flash and splash or rather whatever it is. The other day I was sharing with Rajendra Prasad ji the work being done by the group in Philippines.
Yeah, yeah.
So see what I'm saying. Now
Matsuda
thinking,
Dada may be
no.
knowing. Yeah, yeah.
Fortunately now, what happens is our communications also are going to accelerate the power of communication, because now we have a day was there when we started our work. We used to think about printing presses. Today, of course, now we can look at now right now this particular meeting that I am attending now. It is on Zoom, and I am now staying in rather I'm participating from Luxembourg in Europe. So the capacity of communications, connectivity, all these things are zooming ahead. And I feel that a stage will come when our ideology will be able to explain to people in hundreds of languages, maybe with the help of new technologies. See, like
Bhasini.
artificial intelligence is coming. So what I feel is that our ideology will be sought after. And I think there will be maybe in about 10 years, there will be a great demand for people for who looking for consultation, or consultants, or teachers, or guides, or mentors, or whatever, or proud. I believe that our people should first read our Swadhyaya, whatever you say. We have our proud ideology has not been what you call given the kind of importance, and it has been as much as the spiritual philosophy. And what I personally feel is that now the time has come for people to, at least in each Samaj, we should have a dozen people who are well versed in proud ideology. And I think that will take care of all this, because it's not necessary, even in where changes have taken place. We say French Revolution, we say Bolshevik Revolution, Russian Revolution, Chinese Revolution. See, here also, it was not a minority, the leadership was a minority, was not a majority. But the majority, followed them, because they gave the solutions to the problem. I think now we have to look at ourselves as somebody who understands the context of challenges and how big are the challenges, how they are changing. And right now, see, here I was seeing one where, see, the ghost of immorality is in the, what you call, is hidden in the democracy. The ghost of morality is hidden in democracy. This statement, Babaka, I was reading it. So here now we are having a lot of what we call Maya. See, today we have people are being misled. Misinformation has become a what do you call, a global phenomenon, a countrywide phenomenon everywhere. And if we are able to keep our eyes open and ears open, and a time will come, the people will lose the delusions. They'll come out of these delusions and illusions, and they will what do you call, will look at real solutions. That day definitely is going to come, but our we should be interested in educating as many people as possible, creating the cadre. Don't look at masses, look at not quality, not quantity, but we have to create these what do you call, cadre. Minimum, I said, as I said, at least a dozen people in each samaj. Let us say 44 samajas are there. See who are in a position to answer any question relating to problems the society is facing and give the protestic solutions or neo-humanist solutions. And we
Right.
should be able to, of course, communicate. We have to, of course, we are very poor in communications. And that area, I think we have to, right now, I think a lot of exercise is being done. I think I'll be sharing with Rajendra Prasad ji every time about these media issues and all that, how PR manship and all that, public relations, how to increase or improve. So I think he's doing a very good job creating money videos, and YouTube. He is also, but YouTube also is changing, and technologies are changing. And I personally feel these new technologies will help us uh, expand our reach, expand our connectivity,
Right,
and
Radha.
become more stable over time, over a period of time. Or in a matter of 1 or 2 years, I think we'll become very socially savvy or media savvy, whatever it is. And I think we'll be able to reach more people with our ideology.
Thank you. I think
Thank you. Thank you.
Srilja Didi was very right when saying that we are not able to connect youths. That is a problem, and we need to work on that. Yeah, Madhusoodan, I want to say something, please.
Yes, namaskar. I was recently reading through the UPIF Constitution, and I had a little discussion about it with Dada Vimlananda and came to an understanding that UPIF has a very important role in the PU structure.
Mhm.
Because I was saying to Dada, so how do we ensure that in this structure, based on the Constitution, that we have good Margies in the leadership, people who are following 16 points? Well, if you read the Constitution, you will see that all the federations in PROUT and even in Samaj, there's two forms of membership. There's primary membership and active membership. Anybody can be a primary member. But to be an active member, you have to be certified. So what is the certification? The UPIF is supposed to conduct a training in which people are certified through that training to become active members and suitable for holding leadership positions, both in our federations and in the Samaj. That's really the glue that holds our organization together. UPIF has a really important role to do in that, one that I don't think we've developed so much. And I'm also talking about developing that here in the United States. But our ideology is one, we should all cooperate.
Right. Thank you, Dada. Thank you so much. I think the illusion, what Reddy ji was saying, very correct, that illusion of present democracy is going to fade very soon. We should be ready for that, that what alternative we are going to provide. At the same time, with all of which know, it is not that because we are Margi, I am saying, we know that kind of material we have. I can make a statement because I am a mining background person, that we are sitting on a golden mine, gold mines, where we have to process that and spread in public as a prachar. That's what Dr. Batra also told us. logical and rational idea, just you keep spreading in society, the day will come when people will come to you after the illusion of present democracy fades with time. At the same time, I would like to, maybe many people I found that they say, even we recently we had interviewed someone, he told that many spirituality people say that spirituality is the thing which is solve all the problem. See, what is spirituality? People say, and what is spirituality? Baba say, Baba is very clear that if people are not following yama and niyama, better don't come on the path of spirituality. Otherwise, you will harm yourself and harm the society as well. That is what is called 16 points. Unless people say that, though people are spiritualists, that I found them, they have a very typical toxic behavior. This word I heard. And this is because doing just a sadhana is not the going to, display you as a spiritualist. Baba says, if one is a sadhu, sentient person internally, it cannot be hidden. It will reflect from your behavior. And that is what 16 point is. 16 point is, if sadhana would have been only the part of spirituality, Baba would not have given 16 points. He would have given only the sadhana, 1 point. 16 points contains so beautiful, all soft skills, conduct rules, 15 silas, how you behave. See, even if you are following the second lesson, you can imagine how you will behave with others. How can we hate others? So people are not following 16 points. So just pretending that we are spiritualists, the fact is not. What Baba wanted Sadvipra is not only following 16 points. Baba is saying, get yourself established in 16 points. And then you will be an ideal tool for Paramapurusa, with which he will work through you, and you will see the difference in society. That is why he is saying that number is not very important. The important is how condensed moralist or Sadvipra you are. Baba, one place Baba is saying only Sadvipras can constantly maintain proper adjustment with time, pace, and space and person. Those who propagate material philosophies, I'm talking of materialism, but are morally and spiritually conscious, but quite incapable of constantly maintaining such proper adjustment. For all changes take place within the purview of relativity. So that is what ours is, a progressive. We always adjust with time, place, and person. But our principle don't compromise with principle. We may compromise with the policies to reach our principles. So Baba says that those who have accepted the supreme entity as their goal, those who really believe in universal humanism and reflect universalism in the fullest measure, are alone capable of constantly maintaining proper adjustment for under the influence of spiritual ideals. Their temperaments become great and benevolent. Due to their benevolent idealism and mental development, they naturally look upon all with love and affection. This is missing means I'm not the spiritualist. Then, they can never do any injustice in any particular era or to a particular individual. So Sadvipra society is both the aspiration and demand of oppressed humanity. So dialectical materialism is fundamentally wrong and defective. Baba says one very important thing, that in all countries and at all times, Sadvipra must wait. Remember, Sadvipra must wait until the emergence of an antithesis against any particular thesis. So long as an antithesis has not evolved, Sadvipra will go on working throughout the world to bring about the psychological background for the antithesis of the next phase. The moment the auspicious dawn of renaissance or synthesis comes, Sadvipra will take the reins of the leadership of society into their own hand. I think in this paragraph, Baba is saying so many things, and that is what we are looking for. So, anybody want to say anything during the concluding session? My Didi rightly said, my Mitu Didi, thank you so much, that we were very less in number today, but I think today discussion was quite rich discussion. And so I must thank everyone who has contributed. Thank you very much. And let us again remembering the word of Brother Madhusudhan, what I am doing is more important. This will keep us motivating. Otherwise, this will demotivate us if we look around. So again, I'm repeating that. So let us work on that point. Yes, G. Sundar Reddy Dada.
I'm
Yes,
Brother,
yes. Yeah, Siddharanda.
I am personally inspired. I am personally inspired participating today and continue to be participating.
To make thesis, antithesis, and then find synthesis. Our work is to create synthesis, to maintain balance with subjective approach and objective adjustment. And so much only material we are concerned with, that everybody should have at least basic minimum requirements. And then beyond that, if he is sad, it is because of his sanskaras. Otherwise, if the basic fundamentals are required, is guaranteed, then I should look towards Paramapurusa. Why to this material world? So thank you so much everyone for participating. Namaskar.